Okay, I
I
mean,
think that's
while Michael's loading again, I guess we can just talk about picking bans. So if the bans from blue side for red side was Viger, Malzahar, and Annie. Annie was definitely targeted against MVP Tom Brady, who used to be called, uh, well, that's Chris Akatsuka, but I don't remember his previous name. But MVP Tom Brady got the pentakill on Annie last season, and then the Viger and the Malzahar bans were definitely targeted towards Huge Noodle Brain, who is definitely known for his Malzahar and has been playing a ton of Viger in the past like 2 weeks or so. And if you look at his match history, you'll see. I think there was a certain day where his match history was literally 10 Viger games in a row. And then for red side bans against blue side, there was a Rumble ban, definitely targeting against Mr. Phenomenon. He's got Mastery 5 on Rumble, if I remember correctly. There was a probable Rek'Sai ban, that's a bit unsure, but Depp known to play Rek'Sai a ton. I think his current favorite jungler. And then finally a LeBlanc ban against Unicorn Furies, who I think was spamming LeBlanc for a couple games prior to this match.
All right. I'm in, so we can start whenever you guys are ready.
All right, Neil, give us a countdown.
All right, and so we are starting. So on the blue side, we have $150. No, sorry, we have Dongsquad. So that's Wesley Dong, Alan Jia, Deep something. What's his last name?
Kapoor, Deep
Okay.
Kapoor, Alex Yu, and Vivek Menon,
Yep. On red side, we have
Sam Raper.
$152.
So Sam Raper, Neil Brett Zhang, Chris Akatsuka, and then I don't know the other two.
Nice. All right.
Nick,
From now on, we'll just
Nick,
be
wait,
referring
Nick Kitalasenko, and Kita, okay, and
Answer Winston
okay,
on jungle.
all right.
Yeah, we're just gonna use summoner names from now on.
So we see a very standard start. Everyone is kind of taking their positions. Aurelia's warded the tri bush while waiting in front of the red bush. A lot of pings for Dragon, especially with a Blitzcrank covering there. So wondering if he's going to do a blind hook. Yep, blind hook.
Goes for it and misses.
All right.
So interestingly enough, neither team actually went for a deep ward, so neither team knows if the other one's lane swapping. Um,
But this is
and
UPSL, so I
actually,
don't know if we should necessarily expect lane swaps to occur.
true. Looking at lane matchups, Sivir Blitzcrank versus Graves Morgana definitely slightly favored towards the Graves Morgana. Blitz doesn't have very much pressure in the lane if his hooks don't land, and Graves matches up decently well versus Sivir. In the Aurelia versus Maokai matchup, it's pretty even.
More of a skill matchup.
Yeah, basically farming though. Aurelia doesn't have too much kill pressure on Maokai, and so that's generally how it goes. In the mid lane, another farm matchup in Ari versus Karthus.
Very standard starts for the junglers. Bottom for both sides leashed, and both of them should be getting the buffs. Although Sejuani does get to her main buff a lot earlier. Should be interesting to see what kind of pressure each jungler kind of puts down. Depp, definitely known to be a more aggressive jungler, likes to counter jungle a little bit. And we see Sejuani actually finishing her blue buff way earlier than the Gragas does. So Gragas is still kind of working on his red buff, and Sejuani is working on the Scuttle Crab. Retaining vision.
Interesting to note a couple of the stronger players on each of these teams. If you look at 152,
looks like Sejuani's
sorry.
actually coming in for a gank. She goes for the dash. Oh, the charm lands on the Sejuani. D comes in, flashes. The ignite goes down on Sejuani. Will it be enough? Ari gets the last auto attack and gets first blood. Deep almost
Gragas
falls.
also gets a level up.
Very
Gragas getting a
bold
level up
gank.
means that he can actually do another clan.
Bold gank from Sejuani. Did not expect Ari to ward so early. Otherwise, would have been a really good gank. And props to Unicorn Fury for landing the charm to avoid the flailing winds. Flail in the northern winds? Yes. So Ari with the blue buff at 3 minutes in. Gonna be a tough lane for the Karthus.
Karthus should be able to play safe though. Wesley's actually known to play pretty aggressive, and as long as Noodle Brain can outlast the pressure, he'll outscale, and his team has the means for which to give him the team fight that he needs in order to control the control he needs, rather. Lots of zone control on their team. Stuns from Aurelia, stuns from Sejuani, and a Sivir ultimate.
So Maokai's already backing, and I'm wondering if he's going to TP back or if he's just going to walk back to lane. Interestingly, bought another Doran's ring and a pink ward, actually. So that'll help him maintain vision in lane, avoid any ganks from Sejuani. And it looks like he's just going to stroll back to lane. Both junglers went with the Trailblazer. So that'll help him have some nice sustain in the jungle. No Chilling Smite's going to be seen this match. And it looks like we're just kind of back to farming for both sides. Yeah, so let's look at the farm. So top lanes actually has twice the amount of CS in favor of Aurelia, whereas bottom side there is about 15 gold lead on Graves over Sivir.
Which is actually matches up pretty well to expectations. Asian Sexy, the Graves is actually one of the best players of Pen, has a really consistent AD carry, great team fighting, and so therefore, like, it's expected that he'll be winning in CS. They're playing a very safe lane, no like damage is actually
another king mid. Is Grog gonna come for a gank? Charm misses, and Depp's just gonna throw out Baron and leave. Okay, sorry, back to your point.
No problem. So on the side of $152, actually their solo laners are much stronger players in general than the Dongsquad solo laners. So sort of the lane matchups going as expected, besides the nice early gank by Depp and the.
Oh, Depp steals the Gromp from Sejuani with a single barrel. That's gonna get some nice experience taken away, and Sejuani's just losing gold. Looks like
despite that, though.
Yep.
Despite that, Gragas's slow start early, like his delayed red buff and etc.
Maokai going in on Aurelia. Aurelia levels to level 6. Gonna have to flash away. Oh,
and the
Maokai
heal
flashes.
for
She
just
lives.
enough.
20 HP. Oh, the level up on the Aurelia, giving her just enough health to live. I think Aurelia actually Blade Surged onto a minion, which gave her level 6, and that actually helped tremendously.
Yep, the level 6 heal was enough to save her in that instance. Despite that close call, Aurelia's actually back to farming because of her innate sustain and the TP. So she's actually still maintaining her farm advantage. Actually, all lanes... the jungle lane also, like, not the lane, but the jungle just in general also going in the farm favor of the Sejuani. So the tankier champions of 152 are going to be a lot bigger in this game. So with no... Sorry.
No, I was going to say, it's interesting to see that Sejuani, who actually died early on, is a level higher than the Gragas jungle, who got the assist on the first blood.
His lanes have been really self-sufficient, whereas Depp's been spending a lot of time kind of doing nothing at mid lane. He did get the early kill, but then after that, his pressure's been pretty irrelevant.
Looking at the wards, very little wards from blue side. We see a couple wards laid out from red side, but all in all, the map vision is pretty lackluster overall.
Looks like also catching up well in CS. Gonna be a big threat coming in.
So now it's about the time where all the buffs have kind of respawned. So curious to see whether or not the buffs get passed. Depp did place a ward at red side's blue jungle, or blue golem, but he's also standing on top of a ward. So he's probably going to just go back to his red, and then we'll see where everything goes.
Both junglers almost at level 6, so it's that time when the four-man bot begins, almost. Expect to see some dragon fights soon. Games get pretty hectic around this point. And a Blitzcrank grab lands onto Graves, but a nice spell shield to recover. And a good trade both ways.
Kind of a better trade for red side as Sivir has more health. And Graves is a little down to less than half. Looks like Gragas is invading the Sejuani. And Sejuani has to leave. And Gragas gets to take this farm. So like I said in the beginning, Depp known to kind of be very aggressive as a jungler and kind of just go into the enemy jungle.
At the same time though, Maokai pushed all the way to turret and low on HP. Interesting to see if Aurelia can pull off something here. She's pretty tanky, has a 1 level advantage with a phage, so possible to make a play off.
Also a bit of a BM coming out from S. Raper, laughing under the turret in front of the Maokai. And it looks like Aurelia is... Looks like Gragas can get pinched by the Aurelia, but he's just going to walk away, actually. Depp does not know there is a pink ward in that bush.
Maokai goes in onto Aurelia, knowing that he has the support of his jungler, but Aurelia has the CC reduction from her passive, so it'll be interesting to see if she can escape. And Maokai out of mana can't continue chasing. Back to my point earlier, actually, the dynamic of this game is very interesting because you have a very strong front line so far from 152, and no tank killers on the side of Dongsquad. But back to action top.
Oh, Aurelia doesn't have a ward up. Her ward timed out. That looks like he's still going in. Maokai's a bit hesitant. Gragas charging up, gets some good damage on the Aurelia. Oh, the root and the barrel lands on Aurelia. Oh, the stacking of CCs. Aurelia will have to live.
Aurelia with another save with the ultimate. Aurelia's ultimate has saved her twice now this game, and the Karth Assault might pick up 2 kills here. 1.
Looks like Death is gonna die. No, he's still alive. Nope, he's walking back in the bush. He's surely gonna go down now.
The heal from the spell might be enough, but he has only 1 auto attack, and he's gonna get picked up by Precipice.
Finally, he falls, and there's some action going on mid.
Also bottom lane. A fight bottom lane.
The charm lands on the Karthus. Will Karthus go down?
Man in the field.
The flash
and
from
he gets the kill.
EP from Aurelia. He's gonna land this kill. Oh man, action across all the lanes.
Fight continuing in bottom lane.
The exhaust goes on the Graves and the Sivir. Looks like Blitzkrieg is going to go down.
Nice kill.
Good trades from kind of across the entire map, and it looks like Aurelia's actually roaming down, and there's no vision of this. So let's see.
Sponsor, but there might not be enough time to escape. Aurelia can probably just double blade search here for a double.
She might just tower dive.
Flashes.
Good flash. Will the Graves actually fall? Will Aurelia suffer the same fate as
blade search comes up.
Gets the kill on Graves, but she's really low. Grogs is incoming, puts a ward down. Will she be able to escape? Maokai doesn't have his cooldowns up.
The double TP coming into effect here. Karthus.
Looks like Karthus gets blinded though.
Maokai not
Artie comes in, gets the kill. Charm lands on Karthus, and Gragas gets the kill on Karthus. Wow.
A little bit over-eager skirmishing from red team.
Maokai almost dying to the Karthus passive.
Maokai was a little bit hesitant with his engage there. I think he could have gotten the kill onto both Aurelia and Karthus earlier if he had just went in. He was at full HP, but it's okay.
He had a really early Twisted Advance, and since you don't put any points into Twisted Advance, he couldn't get another Twisted Advance out on the Aurelia, who was dancing between the 2 turrets for about 13 seconds. So in those 13 seconds, Karthus was able to TP in and kind of save the Aurelia or extend Aurelia's life for a couple more seconds. But what a bloodthirsty 3 minutes. There was the fight top lane, which led to the fight mid and the fight bottom, and then the extended fight bot lane between the 2 turrets. And it looks like deep
in the middle of 2, getting chunked by Aurelia super hard, and he goes down extremely quickly.
That's a fresh blue from the Gragas as well, so he literally just picked that up 30 seconds, and he passed that pink ward in the topside river, which Deep didn't know was there, which means he just got collapsed upon. And Aurelia
is huge at this point. With 5 points in W, she's doing extreme true damage, and with Fade Sheen, each ability enhances her attack damage highly. With the sustain from her passive, she can completely bully out this Maokai.
He just walked back in the lane, and he's already immediately half health. And looking at the farm, he's down 44 farm. Just incredibly rough for him. He's not building any magic resist or armor. Instead, he's opting to go right into the Righteous Glory, which, I mean, health is definitely really good against Aurelia, but you gotta wonder if just like a Doran shield, maybe a cloth armor, would have just helped. Actually, opts to go for the Crystalline Bracer over the Catalyst Protector, which would have offered sustain as he levels.
If we take a look at the gold spread throughout the team, it's actually pretty even right now. Currently, most of the gold on the blue side is occupied in Ahri, whereas most of the gold in the red side is occupied in Aurelia. So it'll be interesting to see who can take advantage of that advantage better. Both of these champs definitely in a position to do so. Good dive potential, good assassination potential, etc. Aurelia's pressuring out top very hard, Maokai being denied extremely hard under his tower.
Gotta wonder if it's nerves laning against the Aurelia, who's actually been
ultimate in bottom lane by the Morgana, but stun connects onto Sivir, but the turnaround from Sejuani comes in, and the ultimate from Karthus should be able to turn this fight, and Huge Needle Brain picks up a kill on Deep.
With global pressure from global ultimate and the TPs taking its hold on bot lane.
If Karthus
the find misses. Ahri's here, but I think they might have vision.
Yep, no vision. Ward goes
Ahri
down.
pushes in.
Ahri jumps into 4.
He misses. Oh man, she gonna die here? Gets the ignite off. Oh wow. The Graves ult.
Good team fight, getting 2.
Wow. Ahri.
And they finish up the kills here.
Ahri actually managed to survive. Dragon not taken by either team. Ahri managing to single-handedly turn that around. Unicorn Fury is doing a very good job. And it looks like it's the hype the Maokai.
Yep.
So,
unfortunate.
Looking at Aurelia's gold, if she backs now, she'll probably have enough for her Triforce and maybe boots as well. And it looks like she's just going to take this turret for herself, which is going to be the first turret of the game. So very rough lane for the Maokai. 0-1-2. Aurelia doing very well, 4-1-0. 120 farm. Third highest farm in the game. And right, so at this point of the game, let's look at the items a little bit. So, as we saw that last fight, actually, I don't know if she had this last fight, but Ahri with the Zhonya's rush doesn't decide to go for the Morellos, instead goes straight for the Zhonya's. Graves with the Infinity Edge. Sivir's still building up her first item. Karthus, of course, has his Rod of the Ages completed, and he is about more than halfway stacked on his tier. Aurelia went back, purchased her, finished her Triforce, bought a Spectre's Cowl and boots. Means she's really strong against this very magic-heavy team of blue side.
As soon as Aurelia finishes her Merc Treads, she's going to be extremely hard to lock down. Even with the pretty heavy CC that blue team has, Aurelia's passive makes it extremely difficult, and that should allow her to take over this game if nothing is done. If she's not able to be bursted down later in the game by the Ahri, like up front with the
Aurelia doing a ton of damage to Maokai. Maokai tries to teleport away, he dies before the teleport can complete, and that's another kill on Aurelia and another death from Maokai. He just walked back in the lane, and she just jumps on top of him and kills him immediately.
Honestly, at this point, I think that blue team should actually send somebody else to deal with this Aurelia. Maokai is continually being shoved out and killed. Maybe sending the Ahri or switching up your bottom lane there can alleviate some of the pressure, but by keeping your Maokai top, you actually lose all the pressure that you have in that lane. Dragon's back up for a second time, or still up rather. It'll be interesting to see if that's a point of focus. But without a TP from blue side,
the trap lands on Graves. Sejuani ult will come out. Misses, but the Karthus ult comes out. Probably going to get the kill. Sejuani gets the kill. Ahri comes in. Ult from Kaizen Windsor doesn't do anything.
Ahri goes
in. Zhonya's will live. Maybe not.
No more ult charges. Hits the charm. Hits the Q.
Misses. Everyone lives. Wow. Other than the Graves, of course, but surprised both Ahri, who just went in so aggressively, managed to survive. Kaizen Windsor put the spell shield on herself and was not able to get a successful ultimate off, rather. And other than the kill on Graves, everyone else survives. But lots of cooldowns blown. Flashes, heals from both sides.
And throughout all of that, complete solo lane control from red side. Finally, the duo lane switches up to top so that Aurelia can't completely just control the game, but it's a little bit too late. She's already snowballed to 5-1, and she has the highest net worth in the game by far. Also, Karthus also pushing mid lane while Ahri takes the excursion bot and gets nothing out of it, so red team in a really commanding position. Also, with the first turret of the game, they've jumped to a 2.3k gold advantage, which is the farthest that we've seen anybody go this game. They also have the better scaling comp, with the Graves and the Ahri not matching up to the Karthus and the Aurelia of red team.
So if the all chat is appearing on stream, you'll kind of see that there are a couple pauses that have been happening throughout the game, and it looks like Ahri's going in. Her ult immediately blown, trying to push the Karthus back. Looks like
Dragon fight, but blue team is split, and they immediately blow up the dragon.
This is going to be free dragon for red side. I don't think.
Yeah. Blue team was split at the beginning of that fight. Bottom lane coming from the bottom side, mid and top coming from the top side.
And
so
Maokai, is he going to get dropped? He was just farming middle, and he falls immediately. No defenses. That's a free death on Maokai for red side. Looks like he wandered from top side, but just decided to farm once Gragas fell down, but he didn't realize how fast red side was able to do the dragon, and he just got caught. As I was mentioning, though, with some of the pauses that were happening, it looks like Mr. Phenomenon might have been experiencing some lag or internet issues, which might explain some of the misplays that were happening topside.
it's going to be definitely difficult for blue team to win from this position. They actually do have a very good kite team if they execute correctly, but the sticking power of Sejuani and Aurelia is probably too strong. If they do manage to execute properly with Maokai peeling, a good Gragasol, and a perfect Ahri charms, they have a chance. But it's going to be extremely difficult, especially with a Sivir ult to back up the extreme power of Sejuani and Aurelia in these fights.
So let's look at the items again. Mr. Phenomenon still hasn't really finished any items. He's finished his Ninja Tabi, but that's it. He doesn't have a Righteous Glory down. Gragas doesn't have a complete item. He's got his Ranger's Trailblazer with Cinderhulk, very normal, but Sejuani on the other side has an Aegis at the very least completed. Ahri still has his Anyas. Looks like she's working towards the Morelos, and Graves still has his IE. And then looks like Morgana's working towards a Zhonya's. Looking at red side, Aurelia still has a Trinity Force and Spectre's Cowl, but she's got 2,700 gold. Oh, the Sejuani goes in on the Ahri mid lane. Ahri immediately Zhonya's. Will she be able to escape? She's got her ult, Charm lands. Gragas ult comes in. Looks like she'll be able to just dash away.
Doing all that, unfortunately, though, bot lane turret has gone down, so that gives red side a 3-0 turret advantage and nets them a 5k gold lead, which, against a superior scaling team, is going to be extremely difficult to come back from. Unfortunately, teams like this, like the team comp that blue side has picked, generally works the best with a hyper carry AD carry. As you can see, Graves has not been able to put down enough damage to back up his team as they kite away.
And it looks like the rotations from the Sejuani and Blitzcrank allow red side to get another turret bot side, whereas everyone else on blue side just recalled.
A bunch of pressure on mid as well. It's just blue seed can't seem to keep up, and that's because they're continuously forced back by the amount of pressure that Aurelia and Karthus are exerting on the
And let's
waves.
look at the wards. There's a ton of wards, a lot of vision wards coming out from red side, whereas I see maybe 3, 4 wards tops coming from blue side that are all just generic wards. No pink wards at all.
When they're this behind, blue side should actually focus on getting clearing wards in their jungle instead of maintaining mid
And they're just
vision.
going to face tank this turret, and it's really low already. So, I mean, they're going to get their first turret of the game. But having the Maokai, who has not too much armor, tank it is maybe not the best option. He's got to recall now. He does have TP. So I'm curious as to where he's going to go to kind of give his team some pressure.
Actually, taking a look at the levels, across the board, red team is up almost 2 levels on every champion. 13 to 14 on mid, 11 to 14 on top lane, which is incredible. 10 to 11 on AD carry, and 2 levels on jungle as well. Partly why these fights are going so incredibly wrong for the blue team. Even though the gold looked even early on, because of good fights, the CS has been massively in favor of the red team almost all game on their important champions.
Now it's a 5K gold lead for red side. So the next objective going up will probably be the dragon, which comes up in a minute and a half. I'm kind of curious to see if there will be any team fights that occur before then, or if both teams are just going to farm. Karthus is bottom, and he does have teleport up, and there's just this huge wave, and he's going to be able to apply a lot of pressure on blue side. But
If
blue
Sivir
team
gets to
is
mid,
grouped. Blue team is grouped, so the Karthus DP comes in to
interesting
save the
to
turret.
note that if the Sivir had actually been in
the
mid lane,
grab lands
pull on Blitz,
he goes down almost instantly.
the double TP makes it so that they can follow up onto the Gragas. They're going to get a second kill, and they're going to finish up on the Morgana. Perfect.
The Morgana
Another kill.
stunning 3 people, but the Karthus ult doing so much damage.
Getting a triple kill, and Aurelia coming from the back.
And that's an ace.
What a really good easy catch from red team. Their front line's so powerful that, and their damage dealers in the back line so easy to follow that an easy win for red team.
I mean, the pull was kind of miraculous on the Maokai. Was not expecting that. Looked like it was going to hit the minion, but I guess the model is just way too big on the Maokai. It lands on the Maokai, and his lack of defenses makes him go down almost instantly. And the good teleport reaction time from Aurelia really allows him to kill almost everyone.
Normally Maokai is not a great pull target, but at 103 CS and only 1 completed item versus Aurelia's 2.5, it's no wonder that fight went so poorly for blue team.
The red side gets a Baron, which will help them push even faster. Blue side, unfortunately, way too late to the Baron, won't be able to stop it or steal it, and they're just going to have to either go mid or take the Scuttle Crab.
Extended to a 10k gold lead, and blue seems to be behind at every step. They rotate to the lane just as it dies. They're going to be here to the dragon first, but very little consolation for all the losses that they've incurred this game.
I mean, most of the pressure just comes down to the lead Aurelia has, which she has a 2.5 item lead on the Maokai. In the jungle, oh, the Righteous Glory pot from Maokai, but that does nothing. And Aurelia is able to get topside turret. No one was able to answer that Aurelia.
Stun on Sivir goes down, and they are able to catch her, but a 4-3 man Sejuani ult. Can Karthus do enough AoE? They're just going to run away. They'll finally get the Sejuani.
While this is happening, Aurelia is still pushing top lane. Looks like the teleport from the Maokai going to try to stop this. Will it be enough?
Level 11
not able to push
versus
it
level
back,
16,
and the turret still goes down. They're going to need to send someone else back in order to stop this inhibitor from being taken. Ari comes in with the home guards. Lands the charm. Aurelia, she can be able to just walk away. She just dashes away. While this is happening,
Graves gets pulled into the tower, almost goes down, but
and that was all the Blitzcrank by himself at the turret, and the vision of the Graves.
Karthus
goes
going
down.
to finish off.
Heal's not enough, and the black shield was already down from the Morgana, was not able to shield some of the Karthus damage. So even with the heal, Graves falls to the Karthus. Now Karthus is 5, 3, and 6 with the Rod of Ages completed, his Seraph Embrace completed, and he's got a Death Cap now completed.
A couple of crucial, maybe not misplays, but just key
Yeah, really
but
fighting to them. Karthus TP's in, the charm lands on Aurelia, the wall goes down, but there's also a Gragas there. It looks like both Aurelia and Karthus will be able to live. No one falls down. So, 2 people from red side able to draw 4 people from blue side. And while that's happening, Sivir is now pushing down on mid, whereas Sejuani is now pushing out the bottom side. So just so much pressure from red side.
that's what Baron Buff allows you to do. Empowered cannon minions are just inherently pushing minion waves, gets you a lot of pressure, especially when you can like solo.
Blue side tries to rotate mid to answer the Sivir, but Karthus and Aurelia go top lane and get the inhibitor. Karthus looks like he's going to fall down. Morgana,
and in this 2v5,
Maokai actually falls in that 5v2. And while that's happening, Sejuani, Sivir, Blitzcrank pushing bottom.
Blitzcrank gets a full onto Ari. But Zanya's Hourglass comes out.
Sejuani ult misses.
Blown up though.
And Gragas falls. And the Blitzcrank barely lives. Good target, or good face of the mountain on himself. Looks like they won't get this bottom inhibitor, but they got the top inhibitor and they managed to take 3 people while only losing 2. So great fight for red side.
A couple things to consider about this game, or I think that should be thought about while we're waiting for, sort of red team to group up and end, is I think blue team definitely misplayed their map movements, or at least their map play in the middle of the game. For example, Maokai, when he was getting so heavily outclassed, or not outclassed necessarily, but just so heavily bullied in the top lane, should have either switched with the bottom lane or the mid lane in order to relieve some of the pressure that he felt. Also, bottom lane taking a lot of fights that would have been in their favor if not for the double teleport coming out of red team.
I mean, there's also the fact of the Karthus ult, which is
exactly,
you can't fight that. That's just going to happen regardless of whether you want it to or not. But I would have liked to see the Ahri roam top more instead of bottom, and would have liked to see the Gragas apply pressure top side. Oh,
Snare lands on the Karthus. They might be able to catch him here.
Lands on Karthus, and Karthus. Oh, the charm misses on the rooted Karthus, and Karthus manages to get a kill on the Morgana. Wow, this play.
Really comes in.
Really comes in. She was already bottom. Unicorn Fierce is going to die, and Depp throws out his ult, tries to live. Let's see if he'll be able to escape the Blitzcrank and Sejuani. Sejuani does have her ult. The ult misses Graves, of all people. Switches to the Gragas. Aurelia dashes on Gragas. Looks like he popped up. He's probably going to die. Blitzcrank pull steals the kill.
And this is definitely the end of the game. There's no way to defend from this point.
Definitely misplay from Sejuani. Probably could have killed the Gragas earlier, but she decided to go for the Graves, which is pretty bold. Also tries to go for the dash, but that was definitely going to miss. Sivir is just pushing top lane, so 2 waves of minions crashing into the turret, and you have the weak Maokai and the Graves trying to clear this out. Maokai goes in on the Sivir, spell shields it. Oh, Ahri comes in, misses the charm again. Karthus ult comes down. Will it kill the... Oh, Maokai almost
700 damage to the Maokai.
Is he going to die to the Blitzcrank? Blitzcrank kills him with his ultimate. Grog is now alive. Ahri is losing health immediately. Sejuani trying to fight while taking the turret. Looks like Sejuani's popping his
going
ball.
under fountain prolongs this game. Is there any way the blue team can defend?
That's very standard though. Just very standard UPSL. You get the slight lead, you do the turret dance, and you give blue side some hope, only to crush it a couple minutes later. So let's see what blue side is able to do with this slight turn that has occurred, although they are now down 2 inhibitors. So looking at the items, Maokai now has armor, but he doesn't have any magic resist. Depp has his Randuin's completed. Ahri has a Void Staff now to penetrate a lot of the magic resistance that Aurelia has built up. Aurelia now has a Banshee's Veil and a Spirit Visage, in addition to Blade of the Rune King and Triforce. Sejuani with the Frozen Heart, the Locket, and now looking for Righteous Glory. Arthas with a double blasting wand purchase. Very efficient use of money. Uh, if you don't have enough for an easily large rod at a purchase, he probably had the one blasting wand and didn't have enough to buy anything else, so he decided to just purchase the secondary blasting wand. The binding lands on Sivir, but that does not do anything. Aurelia gets immediately exhausted, dives in on the graves, doing so much damage through these
5v1
people
and still surviving.
Karthus doing a ton of damage. Morgana gonna fall, and Aurelia dashes through the gates, jumps on the Maokai. She's still
survives.
Sejuani going in, ults. The ult from Sejuani gone already, and that's 5 people. Now they're getting a third inhibitor, and there's already minions crashing in on the last Nexus tower. Mr. Phenomenon really low, not healing yet. And there's just so much wave clear from red side. Sejuani jumps in on the graves just to show some harass. Oh, Maokai taking so much damage from the super minion.
Karthus ultimate! Almost
Karthus
the
ultimate.
70% of both carries. Crazy damage.
Wow. This is definitely game. I don't think there's any way Blue Side's going to be able to win.
And the game ends.
That's GG. Very action-packed game, all things considering. Started off maybe a bit slow, although it did start off with that level 3 fight, or 3-minute fight rather. But past that, lots of passive farming until that one turn of events in which just kills happened in every single lane.
Yep.
Thinking about like who the real playmakers were, I would say it's a toss-up between the Aurelia and the Karthus.
I think we're supposed to pick MVPs for both teams.
Yeah.
So I think definitely.
So I don't know. I don't think we have to do MVPs for blue side, but definitely MVPs for red side for sure. But that's for me. It's kind of tough. It's a toss up between the Aurelia and the Karthus.
I think it's definitely the Aurelia. Even though Karthus did actually put on a lot of pressure on the bottom lane, Aurelia's snowball off top lane and his excellent frontlining in team fights allowed him to kill the Graves consistently after the fights would end, allowing them to take objectives that they maybe wouldn't have been able to secure.
That's a very good point. It's tough though, because Aurelia was able to snowball her lead in lane and just consistently push down lane, and no one was able to meet her push. But then again, there was Sejuani who was applying constant pressure bottom, landing some really great ults, doing some really good fights. And then there's also Karthus, of course, who all you really need to do is press R, and you have that global presence, and that just forces everyone back. But I probably will agree with you, and I guess just go with Aurelia. Just the unmet top lane pressure, just ridiculous. And then if we had to give a MVP to blue side, probably to Unicorn Furies. Really carried blue side in the first half of the game, but just once the snowball got going, just no matter what he did, just was not enough.
I actually think that early game Gragas deserves a mention. I don't think he necessarily deserves MVP, but he definitely got already the early kill, which allowed the early snowball. I also think that the Graves on purple team deserves a mention for their dominating lane performance. I think that's what their team should get out of this game, Dongsquad, is that they do have, if they decide to keep this bot lane, they do have an extremely strong bot lane. They should work up just shoring up their top lane matchups and working on how to come back from a top lane deficit if that situation occurs.
Yeah, and maybe one last comment would be look at the map more and kind of apply more pressure elsewhere. It looked like after the kills across all the lanes, the pressure from the Gragas kind of dropped off, and Gragas is definitely a lot stronger of a ganker between Gragas and Sejuani as the two junglers in this game. So definitely would have liked to see Depp apply a bit more pressure. I mean, he definitely invaded the jungle a lot, but I think if he just went to the lanes a bit more, he had a few failed ganks mid, and he got the one successful gank, or no, almost successful gank top lane, but if he, I think, went top a bit more often, we might have been able to see the Aurelia tone down just a little bit.
Yep. Pretty cool game. we'll get to see how these two teams develop. Actually, both teams playing with slightly different rosters than they might end up with. Uh, Dongsquad, I know, has JJ Bros, I think, coming into their lineup later in the season, who's another solid AD carry or support player. And I know that 152 is actually missing Jae Jung, their captain, and one of the strongest mid laners in UPSL. So it'll be interesting to see how both of those teams adapt to the new changes as the season goes along. Definitely some defined strengths in the lineups. So I think both teams just have to work on what they're good at and try to make it even better, or focus around those issues.
For sure. So I think that's actually going to conclude our stream today. So I guess the sign off. Uh,
Yep. Just so you guys know, there will be another game this coming Sunday at I think 6 or 7 p.m. 7 p.m. EST, which will be Pentakill versus Aquatic Super Squirrel. And there may be another game pending confirmation between Dong Squad and Logic Gaming. So exciting stuff. I am Michael Squawk slash Pangarino, as many people say it.
I'm Jeff.
And
I'm Jeff Carfunculus. She.
if you had any feedback on our casting, please type it. I would love to read it. Um, Definitely a lot for us to work on too, along with the teams.